Hello channel Easy Explanation. So in this video tutorial we will be learning about data structure in Python programming language. In Python we have four data structure available. They are list, tuple, set and dictionary, and we will be learning about each of these data structure one by one in detail. So let us first understand the concept of list. List is collection of elements of heterogeneous data type. So as in array is collection of elements of similar data type, but in Python list we can store the element of heterogeneous data type. So list in Python contains heterogeneous values, something like this. I can create a list something like I'll write Alex, then 10 and 20.5. Now you can see this list is composed of string values, integer values and floating point values. So the list is called as the collection of heterogeneous data type. So I'll execute the code. Okay. Now print L, it will print the element of the list. Now when I write print type of L, it is a class list. Now since this is list belong to class called as a list, so there are different methods that can be applied on the list. So the method available for the list are print dir L. So these are the sets of method available for list data structure: append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, reverse, remove and sort. So we'll be learning about each of these method one by one. So the first method is append. So if you do not know what append is, then you can write help l dot append. It will give you the documentation about append method. So append method built-in list instance append object to the end of the list. So if you want to append one object or any element to the end of the list, you can use the append method. So the list we have is L. List look like something like this. Suppose I want to append one more values there, then I'll write L dot append, write the values. Let us say I want to append one string. The string is hello. So when we print L, it will give these values, and this values is appended at the last of the list. Then we have, after append, we have clear. So clear function we will be learning at last, because clear method is used to clear the element of the list. Another method is copy. So let us say I am creating one copy of L dot copy. Now two copies of list is created, one is T and another is L. Now suppose in T I am appending one values 230. Now see the new value of T and the new value of L. So when you apply the copy method, it will create two separate copy of the list. Here we have one list as a T, another list as L. In list T I have appended value 20. So the in list T we have appended 230 into the list. So we'll get the final list as this. Now you can see the list L remain same as earlier. So by using copy you can create two copy of the given list, and these two lists will be separate list values. Okay, so after copy we have count. So if you want to know what is count, then I'll write help L dot count. So return number of occurrence of a value. Suppose I'm creating one temporary list, something like this: a 10 20 30 40 10 10. Now suppose you want to count how many tens are there, then you can write a dot count 10. So it will return total count of 10 in the given list L, in the given list A, which is 3. After count we have extend. So first understand what is extend function. Help a dot extend. Extend list by appending element from the iterable. So we can add a given list to the list we have. So I will create a temporary list such as t is equals to 40 50 60, and I want to extend the list A, so I can write a dot extend t, and when we see A, now this list T is appended to the original list A. So after 10 10 we have 40 50 and 60 added to the given list A. So that is the use of extend method. After extend method we have index. So help a dot index, return the first index of a value. Suppose you want to get the index of a dot index of 10. You can see we have so many 10 in the given list. So we have 1 2 3 10. When you try to find out the index of 10, then it will return the first index of the first 10 in the given list. So the index of first 10 in the given list is 0, so it returns 0. If you want to say like if a dot index of 20, then it will return the index of first 20 in the given list, which is 1. So this is the index method. After index we have insert. So help a dot insert object before the index. So if you want to insert the element at the given index, then you can specify the index value and the object that you want to insert. So now the A contains list something like this. Now at index 0 I want to insert one more element or another element. So A dot insert at index 0 I want to insert 1000. Now see, at index 0 we have 1000 placed here. Now after that we have another method called as a pop. So help a dot pop. So remove and return the index, return item at the index. Default is last. So by default the pop method return the last element from the list. So it will delete the last element from the list. So by using the pop function you can achieve the functionality of stack in list data structure. So we'll write a dot pop. See, the last element, which is 60, is removed from the list and the new list will look something like this. So we do not have 60 now. Okay, so the pop is used to remove the last element from the given list data structure. After pop we have remove. Help a dot remove. Remove the first occurrence of the value. Suppose I want to remove 10 from the given list. So the first 10 that will be encountered in the list will be removed by the a dot remove function. So a dot remove 10 and a. So the first 10 will be deleted from the list A. So you can see after 1000 we had 10, now 10 is removed from the list. So this is the new list values. After remove function we have reverse and sort. Okay, so reverse is used to reverse the given list. Now if I'll reverse the list, a dot reverse, now see a, so 15 have come to the front and 1000 has gone to last. So this is reverse. So this is the reverse of this original list A. Okay, now you can sort the list by using sort function. So if we'll say help a dot sort, see, in place sort, so it will sort the element in ascending order. So if I'll write a dot sort and see the value of a, now this list has been sorted in ascending order. So these are the built-in method available in Python programming language for list class: append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse and sort. And then another method we have is clear. So by using clear method you can clear the element of the list, or you can delete all the element from the list. When call the function clear with respect to a and see the value of a, now a is empty list. Now again you can start inserting element into the list by using append function. So a dot append 10, a dot append 20, a dot append 30. Now see a, we have 10, 20, 30 in the given list. Okay. So after this, let us understand how to iterate over the given list of values. So for that I will create one heading. Iterating over list of values, or iterating over list in Python programming language. So how to iterate over the list? So first we have to understand the list values are indexed from 0 to size minus or length minus 1 of the given list. So for the list A, see here, we have 3 values and you can get length of A as 3 here. So you can get total number of element in the list as 3. Now the first element will be at index 0, second element will be at index 1 and third element will be at index 2. So the index are from 0 to n minus 1 or length minus 1. So you can get the index value by using range function. So you write range of length of A. See, the range is from 0 to 3. If you want to print the range values, then you can see list of range of length of 3 length of A. So it will print the value something like 0, 1, 2. So 0, 1, 2 are nothing but index of the list A. Now you can use this functionality in order to iterate over the given list. So I will be using for loop for iteration. For I in range of length of A, first print the value of I, print I and see the result. So I will print the index values. Now if you want to get the value at index, you can write A of I. See, these are the values that we can get by using for loop. So in this way you can iterate over the for loop in iterate using for loop for list data structure. Now after that, Let us understand slicing operation for the list data structure. So slicing and dicing in list. So how to perform the slicing operation and dicing operation in the list? As I have already told, the index of the list are numbered from 0 to length minus 1. So suppose I have a list A is equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or 60 and 70. Okay, so in order to perform the slicing, you have to follow this syntax. So syntax for slicing will be list, then start index is to end index. Now suppose I want to get the first value 20, then you can write a of 0. Since 0 is the starting index, you can get the last value 70 as a of, so it will be length of a will be how much? See, length of a is 7, so obviously the last element will be given by a of 6. So a of 6 will give you the last element, because the index are list are numbered from 0 to length minus 1. Now after that, suppose you want to extract 20, 30 and 40 from the given list A, then we have to perform the slicing operation. So a of the starting index will be 0 and 1, 1 is to 1, 2, 3. So if I write 1 is to 3, see, we'll get the number up to 20 and 30 only, but we want to extract 40, so you have to write 1 is to 4. So always write, like suppose you want to extract 3 element, then difference of the end index minus start index should be 3. Okay, so the starting index will be 1, which is 20, and then 20, 30 and 40. So 1, 2, 3, 1 index 1, 2, 3, and the last index will be 4. So up to index 4 we have to extract the values. So we'll get the values as 1, a of 1 is to 4, which will give you 20, 30 and 40 as the result. Now suppose I want to extract 30, 40 and 50 from the list, then you can write a of 30, 40 and 50. So index of a is how much? 0, 1 and 2. 2 is to 30, 40, 50 and 60. So 0, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So a of 2 is to 6 will return the value is 30, 40, 50 and 60. Now suppose, okay, you can get the last element of the list by using a of minus 1. So index of the list are numbered from 0 to length minus 1 from left to right, and from the right to left it is numbered from minus 1 to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, how many elements you have there. Okay, so that is reason why a of minus 1 will return 70, and C, a of minus 2 will return 60. Similarly, a of minus 7 will return 10. Okay, so in this way the list can be reversed in Python programming language. So index of the list are numbered from 0 to length minus 1 if you are reading from left to right, but if you are going from right to left, the index are numbered from minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6 and minus 7. So this is about the list data structure in Python programming language. Now another data structure that we need to understand is tuple data structure. Tuple. So like list, tuple is also collection of heterogeneous data values. Tuple is also collection of heterogeneous data values, but unlike list, the tuples are immutables. Immutable means you cannot change the value of tuple element once the tuple has been defined. So you can define tuple as t is equals to, within the small bracket, 10, 20, 30. You can access this individual element by using index similar to list and string. So t of 0 will return you 10, t of 1 will return you 20, and t of 2 will return, and see t of minus 1 will return the last values. So index are very much, indexing and slicing and dicing operation is very much similar to list of Python programming language. Now the major difference is you cannot change or extend the values of t or the tuple once it is created. Like you cannot write t of 0 equals to 100 now. It will throw error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So once tuple is created, it becomes constant. You cannot alter the value of tuple. So if you want to create a constant values or list of constant values, then you can go for tuple data structure. So this is all about tuple data structure. Now another data structure that we need to understand is set. Now set is collection of unique genius elements. So the concept of set is very much similar to the concept of set in subject math. So here we can implement that set concept by using set data structure in Python programming language. You can define set S as S equals to, within middle bracket you can write 10, 20, 30, 10, 10 and 40. So as I have defined, set is collection of unique element. So by default set will remove all the duplicate values. When print S, you will get only the unique values, which is 10, 20, 30 and 40. All the duplicate values are removed by default. If you want to print type of S, you will get the type of S is set. Now suppose I have a string something like this, S equals to set of A, B, B. Okay, and when you print S, okay. So in this way set only retains the the unique values. It removes the duplicate values from the given data. So this is about the set data structure. Now let us understand what are the different methods available for set data structure. So you can write print dir of S and see the set of method that is available for set class. So you can see we have all these methods like add, clear, copy, difference, difference update, discard, intersection. Then we have each subset, pop, remove, union, update, etc. So all the methods that is available for set, concept of the set, all these functionality are available for set data structure in Python programming language also. Now suppose I have a two set, A equals to 10, 20, 30, 40, and we have another B, set B as a 10, 20, 60, 70 and 80. We have two sets, set A and another set B. Then you can apply all these set functionality. Suppose I want to calculate A difference B. You can write A dot difference B. So it will give you the result of A minus B. So only the values that is in A but not in B. So these are the values only in A and not in B. So then we have another method called as a intersection. Intersection will return the common values. When I write A dot intersection B, we'll get the common values at 10 and 20. You can also perform the union operation for the two sets. If I write A union B, then see it will return the combined values of A and B. So A union B returns the combined values of A and B, union of two sets A and B. So there are other sets of methods also available. So you can use all these methods according to your requirement in your programming concept. So this is the set data structure. Set data structure is used to hold the unique values. So set data structure by default removes all the duplicate values from the given set. Now after that, after the set data structure, the last data structure that we need to understand is dictionary. So dictionary are the collection of values in the following form. So the element of dictionary are in the form of key is to value and included within the middle bracket. Key is to the value, and the key should always be unique. Key should always be unique. So if you want to create a data structure something like this, then you have to go for dictionary data structure. Now let us say you can create dictionary as a D is equals to, suppose name is to, then Alexa age is to 5, and then price you can write salary is to 2000, and when we write D, it will print the values of dictionary D, and you can access the values by using the key. So access values of dictionary using key as index. Now suppose I want to get the value of age, then I can write D of age and write D of name and write D of salary, will return the salary values for the key salary. Now what are the different methods available for the dictionary class? So you can print the method available for dictionary class as print dir of D. The set of method that is available for the dictionary class are, see, clear, copy, from keys, get, items. So let's start from the clear, and copy is very much similar to the concept that we started in list data structure. Then I will start from get. So if I write D first, D will print the whole dictionary. If I write D dot get by key name, so key name is suppose 8 age, so D dot get age will return 5, or D dot get of name will return the name. Now similarly we'll be using pop at last. Then items, another method is items. So D dot items, see, D dot items will return the key value in the form of tuples of list. So tuple of list, so name is Alexa, age is 5, and salary as 2000. So these are the nested tuple in a list. So this is one list, this is another list, sorry, this is one tuple, this is another tuple, and this is another tuple. So it is a nested tuple in the given list. So we'll be using D dot means dot items method in order to iterate over the dictionary. So you can list all the key values by D dot keys method, and you can list all the values of dictionary by using D dot values method. Now how to iterate over the dictionary in Python programming language? For that, now iterating over dictionary in Python. So how to iterate over dictionary? Suppose we are using that original dictionary only. D. Now we can use for loop for that. For k comma v in D dot items. Now see, when you do D dot items, it will return list of tuples. D dot items will return list of tuple. This is tuple 1, this is tuple 2, and this is tuple 3. So D of items of 0 will return name of Alexa, 1 will return age and 5, and 2 will return salary and 2000. So in the first iteration, so the value of name will be assigned into k, and the value of Alexa will be assigned into variable v. So you can print k comma v. So name Alexa, age 5, and salary 2000. You can modify this and print it in another way. So print, so D of k, since k variable will contain the keys, it will return the values. So D of k will return the values for that key. Okay. So in this way we can iterate our dictionary in Python programming language. Now after this, so we have to understand about the some membership operator. Okay, so we'll be learning about membership operator and how it can be applied into data structure concept. So membership operator, membership operator. So the membership operator that is available in Python programming language is in operator and another is not in operator. Now let us see how this operator works, in operator and not in operator. Suppose I have a list A is equals to 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. If you want to check whether 10 is in the list or not, so 10 in A, so 10 in A will return true values. If I'll write 100 in A, it will return false values. So by using in operator we can check the membership of the given values in the given list or tuple. And if I'll write 100 not in A, now let us see the result. It will return true. And if I'll write 10 not in A, it will return false. So in this way you can use membership operator to check whether the given values is a member of the given list or tuple or not. After this, let us learn about list comprehension in Python programming language. So list comprehension. So let us say I have a list L equals to 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So you can comprehend the for loop and write something like this. A is equals to, suppose for I in L, you can write something like I into I. If you see the values, you can see I into I will return the square of all these element of the given list L. So in this way you can perform list comprehension in Python programming language. Now another thing that we need to understand is create an empty list and add some values to it. You can create empty list as A equals to this. Okay, now A is an empty list, it does not contain any values. You can append the values into empty list by A dot append 10, A dot append 20, A dot and 30, and we'll write A. See the result, A is 10, 20 and 30. Now similar to the list, you can also create an empty dictionary. Create empty dictionary and add elements to it. So you can create empty dictionary as a D of this. Now you can see D is now empty dictionary. Now you can add the values like D of name. So name is the key, and for this key the value will be, suppose Alexa, D of age equals to 20, D of salary equals to 2000. And when we write D, you can see we have created the dictionary of values. And we'll check the type of D, you'll get the type as dictionary. So let us understand one more concept. There is one method called as a built-in method called as a zip. So what is the zip method? Let us understand this. So help zip, okay, return a zip object. So the next method continues until the shortest iterable arguments exhausted, and it reaches the stop operation. So when you need to combine the two tuples or two iterables, then you can use the zip method or zip built-in methods. Suppose we have a two list L is equals to 1 2 3 and M is equals to 1 4 and 9. Suppose you want to combine these two lists, two tuple L and M as a dictionary format, something like 1 is to 1, 2 is to 4 and 3 is to 9. So first we have to do is zip these values. So Z is equals to zip the two list, two tuple L and M. So when write Z, you will see, okay, so it is just printing the memory image. You can list the values of zip as list Z. Okay, so now the values are combined, something like 1 is to 1, 2 comma 4 and 3 as 3 comma 9. Now you can convert these zipped values into dictionary as dict of Z. So list of Z and see. So it is reprinting the empty values. So if I'll write dict of Z here, okay, so we are getting the values. Okay, since we are creating list of tuples, so it is printing the empty result. So see here, I will delete this thing. If it, now see here, I have a two tuple L and M. I have zipped this two tuple L and M using the zip method. Now after zipping, it will create the list of tuples, and by calling the built-in method called as a dict, I am converting the list of tuples into dictionary. Now this is the dictionary format. If I'll write D is equals to dict of Z, now you can see D and this, and you can guess the values of D of 1 is 1, or you can write D of keys. So 1 2 3 will be keys, and D dot values, so 1 4 9 will be the values available for the dictionary. So if you have list of tuple, you can convert the list of tuple into dictionary also by using this zip method and dictionary method. So these are the data structure available in Python programming language. Let us see whether we have covered all the data structure in Python programming language or not. So we have covered list, we have covered tuple, we have covered set, and we have covered the dictionary. So I hope every one of you understood the concept. If you have any queries regarding the data structure in Python programming language, please mention in the comment section, and please like, share and subscribe our channel for more videos. In the next video tutorials, I will be discussing about the concept of function in Python programming language. So please subscribe, so whenever I upload the video, you will get the notification. Thank you for listening everyone. Till then, bye bye.